guys, welcome back to the channel. Right here, 75 Beetle. And yes, it's been on the channel before. If you remember, well, if you haven't watched the original video on this thing, it's a fuel injected car. We saved the fuel injection. It's still fuel injected. And happy to report it's in here for, well, something I did off camera, just an inspection of the engine, just make sure everything's good. It is. The owner has had no problems out of it as far as he told me, other than a window that I have to adjust because it sticks. Anywho, regressing to what the hell we're doing in this video, the front end. It's a bit too high. The owner also came to the conclusion he is not a purist where everything has to look OEM. So we're going to do a 2.5-inch drop and disc brake conversion on this car. I'm hoping the lines cooperate. That's kind of just my only fear. At least it's the front. If I have to make lines, I'll make lines. But anywho's, let me get this thing racked up and join me taking this thing apart. Hopefully it's a fairly easy episode. It's been a few minutes, not gonna lie, because I was remembering to myself, I might be putting wheels on this car. With that said, I do not have any lug nuts. Well, I have lug nuts. I don't have correct lug nuts for said wheels that would be going on this thing. If that makes sense. Anywho, at least the Amazon Speed Shop is on point, and I should have them, hopefully tomorrow. At least wheels aren't going to stop a test drive. They'll stop a delivery, but not a test drive. Just throwing that one out there. Okie dokes. First step, get the retainer off. Second step, get this off. Save that thing, your washer. Then pull your drum. Did I do these? I don't honestly know. All right. Not gonna lie, completely forgot what the hell I was doing. Anywho, third step, grab your drum and put it back on the damn wheel. Or on the spindle. Because unless you're worried about weight, that actually doesn't have to come off. Excuse me. Anywho, thought I was just doing a disc conversion. At least that's the excuse I'm going to go with. That doobly-doo. Get rid of that. Let me get my magic tool real quick. Tie rod end. Put your bolt back on. Because we're reusing it, you don't want to mushroom the threads. Now, you can take this damn thing off like 132 different kinds of ways. Pickle fork, beat the poop out of it, if you will. I guess there's a ton of ways to make an omelet with this. There we go. I do like these separators. They're convenient, like so. Be careful with them. If they don't, I don't know, want to cooperate, well, shit. Ugh. With an impact, tie rods are usually not bad. Removing. It's the ball joints that kind of are a pain in the butt to break tension or break the taper. Sorry about the audio because, you know, I like to film in the rain. We'll leave that brake line connected till the very end. You got your two 19s in here. But yeah, no, what I was saying is the ball joints usually under a lot more tension and tend to, if you use an impact to separate them, I have blown those things up. So I'm kind of leery when I put air to that tool. Smart person when you get a ratchet wrench. You know, it's been relatively dry all day with the occasional rain here and there. But never ceases to amaze me. Once I start to record, we get this. I'm back. Alright. Just for my own mentalness, I'm going to put a white mark or a colored mark. On the camber bolt, because they typically come out. Well, they're going to come out because you got to transfer them to the new. I'm just going to dot one of the edges, well, one of the points. Where the hell is that? Oh, just putting a mark on that. That'd be, well, the front. So that when I put the new spindle in, it's going to be vaguely aligned. The alignment shouldn't shift that much. What that does is caster and camber. You'll notice right away if you got it screwed up because your wheels will be like this or like this, or you have a crazy pull. If you have a crazy pull from doing this, you got your caster off. Typically, camber won't do pull. Well, okay. Don't thread in. Weird. It's the one that came off. I mean, the threads. Same thing, get this guy on. That lower. This I will run in by hand and smack it. Sometimes they pop easily, sometimes they don't. Like I said, tie rods usually pop fairly simply. But yeah, these tools, when they explode, they sound like a gunshot going off. Not ideal. Bonk. I need that washer. Eee. Hold please, be right back. I had to get a fan set up. I have an active water leak. Just because my bay door's open and the way the wind's blowing, it's kind of, might flood me out. I don't know how well it's picking up in my mic, but it's pretty good. All right, top one. Same, but different. What you might feel is too much pressure on them. I was just about to show you. And smack the side. Usually a little shock will break the taper on these. All right. Time to make a mess. Gotta just disconnect the brakes. Easiest way I found to do this, or at least the brakes, is get a zip tie. I don't think I know where a bungee is. And the back. Zip ties are just to keep the tie rod out of the way. You know, elevated, if you will. Brake line. Get like a vacuum plug or a plug or something, because once you crack that line, if it wants to cooperate, you're gonna, I need pliers. You're gonna be leaking a bunch of brake fluid. So that'll at least minimize said leaking brake fluid. What did I come over here for? Pliers. Here I am again, thinking I was a professional and I had all my stuff. Joke's on me. I don't. This, and if it's original, it should be an 11 back there. Maybe. It is. All right. My fun thing of trying to get brake line loose without effing up the brake line. Because I don't want to replace it. Already not looking good. Oh, it broke. Well, broke loose. It did the good kind of braking, not the bad kind of braking. Let's see if I can get that clip out. Sometimes easy, sometimes pain. This time easy. Oh, that there, clip. Rubber thingy. Holy crap. I say this every time I mess around with brakes. Once you get the line broke loose, then you can go back with, well, break the line loose with a line wrench, so you don't, hopefully you don't strip it, or less chance of stripping it, and then you can go back with a normal open box end to do the rest of it. Did I get the right size? Yeah, yes I did. Perfect. Anyway, put the little vacuum cap or any cap over that and you should be good. Oh, that's what fell. No, it's not, because it's there. It's loud. All right, now the fun task of getting this damn thing out. Lower control arm. Where's my 17? Not lower control arm, lower shock. You don't have to disconnect it, but it does sometimes help. With, you know, fighting it. It just depends on what shock you have. If they're, well, factory, you can kind of, you can squeeze this out, but you're fighting the top. And if it's aftermarket, like maybe has extended travel, you should be fine to get this thing out. So I'm just taking the bolt off. I'm not necessarily taking the shock off for this minute. I just want options. This way I'm not, oh no. All right. So I don't get myself into an immediate pickle. Oh crap. All right, pry bars. And go at it. Ow. Oh, that's not important. All right, there's that. I know you popped. I know you popped. There we go. Little love taps. There we go, that's off. What I did was I pried from, well, the mount to the upper control arm or tie rod and just leveraged the top out. Like I said, you didn't have to, oh, bearing. You didn't have to undo the bottom shock. Like I said, I've had issues to where one of these arms might be seized up and you have to actually pry at it. Seeing how that's there, I'll just leave it. If this stays, you can keep it. Sometimes it doesn't stay. Well, sometimes it gets stuck in the spindle, so that's why I always break the taper on them, because I don't know which one's going to come out. If the adjuster stays in the control arm, leave it in the damn control arm. Like I said, the reason for the white spot is we're just going to put the new control arm, we're going to set it where that one was, which is pointing forward, and call it a day. All this looks good. The boots look good. Tie rod, has some life on it. It's still stiff. It's not floppy, so I'm not even going to replace it. All right, let's get some parts. Drop spindles. Oh, hell. Getting away from me. I don't know which side's which. This is the wrong side. Drop spindles. Pretty sure this is the right side. I only had two options. Nope. Give me two options and I'll still screw it up. Anywho, easy way to tell also. If you don't know what side goes where, at least these aren't stamped at, oh no. Passenger side should not have a hole. Well, depending on your kit, but typically the passenger side does not have a hole drilled in the middle of the spindle. That hole's for your speedo cable. Just slap it on. Drop ball joints. What is it? 68 and later. Tie rod ends, or 69 and later. I don't know. Read the description. If you have an early model with a ball joint, so what? 67. Or ball joint front ends. They don't work. Just read the description for what you're buying. All right, that goes there. Now we get to have the fun job of struggling to get the top in. Like I said, you go under. Typically, you can go under the upper and pry it in, and leave and leverage it in. Or not. I'm not going to struggle tonight. This is why we undid the lower shock. It gained me a bit. Usually it does. Like that. And now, you should just be able to manhandle this thing in. There we go. Trying to get that alignment mark to pretty much align a lot, straight. And we just have to reattach that bottom shock. Not a big deal at all. Like I said, as long as this white mark is pointing forward, kind of like how we removed it, we'll be fine. Also, it'd be fine if I knew where my 19 went. There it is. We'll get the lower on. Lower doesn't, isn't as much of a pain in the butt. Just because you don't have to hold anything, you just got to make sure the top isn't spinning. Well, the ball joint itself isn't spinning. Like I said, I got lucky on these. They're in great shape. So we don't have to go through the work. Put it this way, now is the time, if you need ball joints, to replace your ball joints. These are Tef nuts on here. One thing I don't like is they are a little loose. Let's get a little blue thread Loctite. Head out. There. Make me feel a little bit better. Top one felt fine. Bottom one's might have been off once or twice before, something like that. So just a little added insurance. Tight. I get my long 19 for just in case. Make sure it's tight. Come here. The other one. Come here. It's still straight, right? Yep. Like I said, this Tef nut felt fine. On. Done. You gonna lift up enough? Nope. We'll attach that shock later. Let's see. Tie rod in. Might as well put this thing on. We're here. Boop. Same thing with this. I'm just going to put a little thread locker on it. It's a jam nut. Predecessor to like Tef nuts. And I'm not going crazy. Again, this is for my own mental health and well-being. Putting this stuff on. Would it go anywhere if I didn't? Probably not. Am I going to take that chance? Nope. Okay, next thing. Well, next thing, I actually want to paint this because it's cast. And, well, if you know anything about cast, it's going to rust. I typically paint most of the stuff I work on. Just lightly, nothing crazy. It's just to protect it. Stuff's just wheel paint too. Holds up pretty damn good. All right, rotors. You guys are gonna have to come over here. I've shown this before. I think they have some websites. They have a self-packed option. So you have your inner bearings and outer bearings. What you're going to need to do is install the races. When I say, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember what websites, but I did order rotors already packed, meaning the inner and outers were already in them. If you have that option, do that option, because it'll save you some mental anguish. What you're going to do is beat the crap out of this into here. Find most likely a socket, or if you have a pusher that's the size of the outside, don't push on the erase. Do not push on the inside. You'll screw it up. You want to push on the lip, get something that fits properly, and just beat the crap out of it. When you find some things, where's the inner? I think I remember what sizes I use. I don't remember, obviously, because it's me, and I've slept since. But let me find some thingies, and I'll be right back. I got stuff. Hopefully it works. 30, well, at least in my sockets, a 30 or a 29 is the closest. Make sure you put it in the right way. You want the cone facing up so the bearing will go in. I have, story for another day. But they're not crazy, like a crazy press or anything like that. Just make sure when you're putting them in, you keep them, everything even, and you bottom them out. I'm going to lose that gun. Yeah, that's a little tight. A little bit more. You hear that tone change? I don't know if I picked up on the mic, but when you hear that tone change, you're seated. So that side's in. Other side, like I said, was a, I don't think I said, 1 3/8 in the wrenches or the sockets I have. You might have to do some creativeness with this back one if you don't have a socket set that goes this high. You hear the tone change, you're down. Like so. Just be gentle, take your time, and you smack them in. Okay, now my next least favorite thing to do. Whoop. Pack bearings. All right, packing bearings. Everyone does it differently. Everyone's right. I just throw grease in one of the bags that come with it. Throw the bearing in there. Give it basically a good squeeze. It'll force grease into everything and take it out. Bearings suck because they're, well, they're just that. You can't have too much grease. I already screwed up. Put that there. Take this off. I have the inner already packed. I just need to put a grease seal in. Do not forget your grease seals. Spudge a little extra in there. Get a hammer and it just taps in. Nothing too crazy. Boop, back to this. Throw that on. Get your bearing, which is now ungloved hand. Slide that on. Yuck. Rag. I've had problems with them sending me wrong bearings. I'm hoping this isn't the case and this is just super new and super tight. I should have tested it beforehand. Put your plate on. Don't I have... Nope. Spindle lock nut, jam nut, whatever you want to call this. Put that on. I spin it till seat, back it off, and semi-tighten it. Feels a little tight. Tight, back, tight. That feels good there. Only damn ratchet I've used today. Tighten your jam nut. Slam on dust cap. And the wheel, at least, part of this is good. Or rotor part. Let me get the other thing. I gotta get the line, soft line out of there. Now's a good place to replace your soft lines. If yours are in bad condition, those are basically brand new looking. But let me get the caliper, and we'll slam the caliper on this thing. Also, I need brake clean to hose this crap off. Be back. I'm back. I know. Yay. Calipers. I don't know what kit you get or what kit you're going to buy. But this kit. Oh, by the way, I got this from SoCal Import. So it's whatever kit they offer. But what I was saying is, this one comes self-loaded or pre-loaded. Well, I can't get them out. With that, what that means is the pads are already in here. So that makes life a little easier. Also, convenient. There's no left and right side. Meaning if you have a bleeder on the top and the bottom, doesn't matter what side you put your caliper on. If you only have one on one side, to the top. They get sold two different ways, I guess is what I'm getting at. So make sure you verify what you have before you have a bad day. Because I have had people bring their cars in after they've done said conversion and didn't have any brakes. Caliper's easy. Get your bolts, washers, line it up. Whoop. Forgot brake clean. That's fine. And just bolt it on. Nothing fancy. Tight. Tight. Rotors on. Still forgot brake clean. Shit. Fine. Because these rotors get shipped with like oil on them. You want to get it off, obviously. It'll hurt the burn-in process, or the seating process. Burn-in. Words are hard. Mainly this, I just want to get off any grease I probably put on this thing. Screw your line on. Boop. On. Put your take that off. Oh, now you're leaking. Hard line into your soft line. Oh, I'll find my 17, which I've probably lost 3 times already. Nope, got it. And the line wrench, got that too. Snug these guys up. Kneel in all of the brake fluid. Gentle snug. Let me put that clip on that I gently placed and yep, found it. Knew where it was. I'm not senile yet. Or that senile yet. Put the clip on just to hold that. Now we can do a final snug on this brake line. Again, Don't tighten it to the freaking moon. They only need like 15 foot-pounds. I say this in every video. I don't know if any of you care or listen. Snug. There. You'll know if it's leaking, if it's loose. Brake fluid sucks, so I try to get it off the car. That works. Clean that off. Good extension on that side. Oh, the turn. Good, not hitting anything. This side's done. Let me knock out the other side and we'll get to the brake bleeding process. Because, well, unless developments happen, other than taking the speedometer cable out, it's the same thing. Or if I think that there's something more important I got to show you on the other side, I'll show you. But currently, just the exact same. Installation is the same as removal, just in, you know, the opposite order. Yep. Not going to use these, but I'll put these in here. Oh, no. I'm probably going to use these. All right, guys. Next day, let's bleed some brakes. Obviously, the passenger side or driver side is caught up. Mainly because we're on the passenger side. Just get my bleeder put on there. You've watched this channel. Well, if you've watched this channel, you got multiple options. You got the pump bleed option. I use the Motive power bleeder. It's all about speed and efficiency. I definitely do one of them. Not the efficiency side. Nope. All right. Let me hook this stupid thing up. Oop. And by stupid, I mean best invention ever. All right, screwed on. Let's build some pressure, look for leaks. I take it right to about 5.5 bar, 0.05 bar. Those would be two completely different readings, and one of them would probably blow something up. You don't want to go nuts, in other words, with the pressure, because everything's like a slip fit. Dry. Looking for leaks, pressurized. If there's a leak, you will definitely find it. Dry. I gotta clean that well out. I guess I got a little lazy last night. All right, now simply open the bleeder. And watch all the air and hopefully all the fluid come out. Well, the fluid with all the air. Tight. I do this as a preliminary. Basically like a preliminary bleed. Run the system, get what I can out, and then I will aid the bleed with the pedal. You don't have to, but for some reason, I feel more comfortable if I run the pedal. Same thing, crack it open. Bunch of air. All right, close it, and we'll check it. Tight. Oh, this grease gun's gonna get me again. Rock solid pedal. Well, by rock solid, it has an appropriate amount of squish to it. Trying to wedge my stick in here. To apply the brakes, so I can do a quick check. All right, it's down. That is locked. Well, I used hardly any force. Where's my pry bar? Give it the old hook and turn. And yeah, I say the brakes work. Do it on the other side. Put it this way. One side's working, this side's working. Yeah. Brakes work. All right. Now, we'll undo everything I just did. And I have to do two things right now. Thing one, stuff's always falling. Thing one I have to do, get more limber. Thing two, I want to put these wheels on, the factory steelies, put the, wherever they are. Put the factory steelies on. My gut was hiding them. Get a photo for the owner, send it to him. Then I have to put, I don't know, the equivalent of MP8s on and send a photo to him. See which one he likes more. If he wants to run the steelies or if you, I have a spare set of MP8s. See if he wants to buy them. Like I said, he's slow after us. He's no longer, say, a VW OEM purist, but he's straddling the line of how far, I guess, he's willing or wanting to go to make it like a custom / car. I don't know. I'll be back. Almost forgot, but I didn't, about the lower controller, or shock. I hate this jack, by the way. But I don't feel like getting the other one. I'll be honest. All I'm doing is jacking up on the lower control arm to get this damn thing to align. See how well that went? Make sure you have your stuff centered and properly adjusted for, because I knew that was going to slip, and I did nothing to readjust it. Mainly because I don't like this jack. Let's try that again. And up. That should be about right. A little more. Boink. One shock. Even new hardware. Put the other one on, and then we'll put this on the ground. But yeah, I wanted to show that I did not forget these things. And I was even going to, I was going to say I was just going to do it when I was on the ground. And then I was like, well, that's stupid. The car's on a lift. Now the jack wants to cooperate. Sort of. I definitely have a piston problem with this thing. You'll never guess what happened. I'm using slight bit of my brain muscle. Said I was going to change the oil. This car, for anything I'm doing right now, is going to be the old floor routine. So, with that said, it's on the rack. Let me change the oil on the rack. One thing I am going to do, I think I have one. Besides a mess. I thought I had one. That's a screen. I thought I had another sump plate. I was going to say, because this is the one without the drain. Well, crap. What are those? Brake hardware. Not what I need. I'll do some digging. Let me see if I have a spare sump plate. 75. You'd figure it'd have a sump plate. It does not. But yeah, let me do a quick oil change on this thing, and then we'll get it on the ground so that I can see what the hell's going on with the look. All right, guys. Ugh. Oh, let me put hubcaps on so I don't forget them. I mean, it'd be kind of hard for me to forget them because, well, they're missing, but I don't know. It's me. I'm sure there's a way. Hubcaps on. Yeah. All right, let's try it again. Let's try this drive introduction again. All right, fix you guys. This is already starting off well. All right. Anywho, I installed here. I don't know if you can even tell. Epi shifter. Got that. It does have the reverse lockouts working now, so on and so forth. So that's in. And I think I fixed the window. Did a window in another video, but now this thing rolls. Still a little stiff, but it might come around. Anywho, let me get this thing fired up like I normally do. Take it on the road, do a little road test, make sure the brakes are working. We have a pedal, so good. It really sucked if I just committed to driving and, drove through something like a fence. But anyway, Get it fired up, let this thing warm up. It's a little chilly today, actually. It's only 60-ish, according to that. Does this work? Wow, that works. Interesting. Anywho, I am easily distracted. Yeah, let me get this thing on the road. Let it warm up, move my cars out, and then join me on the road. A quick test drive. Make sure the engine's good. Like I said, it should be. I went through it, checked the valves, you know, the normal thing, oil change, yada yada yada. What else? But mainly, I just need to pretty much bed these pads for the owner so that they work. Couple hot stops, so on and so forth. Anywho's, see what happens. Oh yeah, it's fuel injected. Let this thing warm up. Join me on the road. I don't know if that picked up in my mic, but almost felt like clutch slip. Not really sure. Brakes work good. Not really sure what that's about. Weird. Yeah, it definitely had like a, like I said, I don't know if it picked up in my mic or not because I got wind canceling on. But there's definitely distinctive pulling, not pulling, then pulling again. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't smell clutch, so that's a plus, but that's weird. Also, the throttle cable's a little sticky, it seems like. I think that's the reason for some of the idling. Shifter's fine. I can go up a gear or down a gear. Reverse obviously works because I got out of the shop. But I haven't scratched anything or hit anything yet. Like, downshift. We'll know when we go because I'll run it through the gears. Like I said, that lockout plate, when I took it off, was damaged. I should have shown it, but I mean, it's just taking a shifter off, putting a shifter on kind of thing. There's nothing magical in doing it. They're two 13mm bolts. I like these shifters. Same one I run in my Gia. Only difference is mine's copper and I changed out the ball. Because me personally, I'm not a fan of the big ball. I like a little knob. And I think they're American thread. I can't remember. I think the handle I got's like off of a PTO tractor. Or a tractor PTO. Hot brake stop. Let's do second. Yep, second works. Little bit of rubbing, I heard it. It's pretty typical. It's gonna need probably these are 195s on the front, probably needs like one other way 65. But the owner is buying new wheels and tires, or new wheels. Owner's buying new wheels for this car, so we'll address the tire issue when that happens. I'd say 99.8% of the time, you're never gonna feel the tire scrub. It's not feel, it's it probably won't scrub. We could put coilovers on the front of the car just to stiffen up the ride. Just depends. When you go to lowered ride height, because it's static, meaning you're fixed at a 2.5 drop. You're at the mercy of your torsion arms or your torsions. So if they're really sacked out, you're going to get more than 2 inch. If they're really firm, you're going to get the 2.5. You know what I mean? If you got tired springs, sometimes a 2.5 inch drop will look like it's like 3 or 4 inches. This one looks like it got about a 2.5 on it. So, and the car rides pretty good. Car rides pretty good for that for the drop. So I'm saying they're pretty healthy, at least the springs. They're not like all sacked out. Plus, as high as that front end's been riding, it's definitely I would say safely in decent shape. The other thing you got to look out for is well, most of the time people drive in the driver's side. The driver's side usually sits lower than the passenger side. There wasn't a case in this. That wasn't me. That wasn't the case here. One thing I do like about drop spindles is you don't change the ride quality. Your shock stayed the same. Your basically all your suspension geometry stayed the same. You get a little bit more darty steering just because your nose down attitude. So you kind of changed your camber. What was that? Caster. So it turns just a little darty. Nothing that concerns anybody for the most part. Other than that, you're right. You wouldn't even know it. Like I said, with the occasional, you hit a bump, like in a turn, and you hear a fender rub. So, I mean, it's custom stuff. Nothing's perfect. You know, it's just my luck that every other one of my test drives I do, I find nothing but traffic. This one, where I need to use my brakes, well, not need to, but would like to, I can barely find any. Yeah, they're starting to bite now. That fuel pump, I told them, I don't know if it's picking up in my mic or not, but it's pretty loud. I might end up next year, or unless it craps out, we'll change it and make it quieter. Also next year, he's probably looking at a rear main. It's a bit leaky. But the valve cover leak seems like that's fixed. So that's good. I could not hit so many green lights in my daily drives than I am today. I couldn't hit so many green lights in a normal test drive as I do, or as I am today. Car runs great. Yeah, the engine was never an issue. Another freaking green light. I always hit this one red. Engine's doing its thing. It's responsive. For the brakes, for as much as I used them, they're fine. Car's stable. Doesn't feel like I'm losing a wheel or the front end. No weird noises. Head back to the shop. Finally, I can use brakes. I came in a lot hot on that one. A, because I knew the brakes would work. B, because, well, I'm trying to bend those pads still.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you! Does the heat work in this thing? I think it does. Nice lady. That's the one thing with, like, I tell people with, like, driving vintage Volkswagens, mainly. There's such a cult following with them. I honestly stopped getting gas at gas stations if I can help it, like during normal times. Mainly because I'm there to get gas, and this isn't just a huge, like a jab or anything like that. But I'm there to get gas. I'm not there to have a 40-minute conversation, on how cool my car is. The 1.2 is a little weird still. Ooh. Yeah, the brakes are definitely grabbing. Like grabbing good, not grabbing bad. Put a little effort in, they'll stop you. Not by a little, it's just a little more than a little. Anyway, join me, Big Cam. Let me make sure to close out this episode. Front end's good. Brakes are good. Engine's good. Everything's good. Alright guys, where's my other lift pole? Car did great. Brakes are fine. Shh. Car did great. Brakes are fine. Little rubbing to be expected. Like I said, the car has 195s on it, so they're sticking out. A 185 would be much better. Can stiffen the front end a bit, just so it doesn't have like coilovers. But I don't know what I'm going to get into when he orders wheels. We might have to go with like a 165 for clearance, because disc brakes put your wheels out. I think it's like a ½ inch side to side. So keep that in mind. And then aftermarket wheels also push your wheels out. So you might have anywhere from like a quarter to a half a stick out, depending. So might have to work with that, stiffen up the front end, so on and so forth. The rubbing wasn't bad. Like I said, I definitely heard it. I'm not going to deny it. If you do this, you will rub. If you don't, you probably have a smaller profile tire. But you might catch it on the turn regardless. I was fully expecting to rub. I told the owner I was probably going to rub. I'm going to go out and see the damage, which, I mean, if anything, it's just tire marks. But it did perform extremely well, actually. Let me just go out now and see how bad it is. Driver's side. Oh, it's fine. I definitely hit the inside of it, like the inside lip. Passenger side. Yeah, just a little on the lip. Nothing major. A 185 would definitely clear that up. That rub issue. It's catching. You have your fender, and then you have the inner lip of the fender. So the tire right now is just catching the inner lip. I remember on my car when I did it, I cut the inner lip out, and that solved that. Because they're pretty fat. But this car's really nice, and if I cut it in any way, it's going to. Is that what smells? I've been wondering what smells delightful in this car. There's I don't know what the hell that is. What is that? The drift, whatever that means, whatever air freshener that is outstandingly delightful. I thought it was a garage door opener when I looked in here the first time. Not going to lie. Just at this angle, I realized it is not a garage door opener. But yeah, shifter worked great. Window, like I said, the window. I had to shift it and just lube the slide. They put like normal glue in there, and it's hard. Does get just a little tight up there, but I mean it's nothing like it was. He broke a handle trying to roll up the window, I guess is what I'm getting at. This inner felt is a little wacky too, so I think I'm fighting multiple issues that I don't have a replacement felt, so I'm not gonna kind of like destroy your car in other words. But with that said, let me close this out. Drop spindles performed as expected. Brakes are good. They stop me. A panic stop should be fine. I didn't want to do that, but I did get on them a little aggressively. One of the last stops. I don't know if I have it in the video or not, but yeah, one of the last stops I did get on it a little aggressively. She does come to a hold. Actually, I know it won't be on video because it's me pulling into the shop. But with that said, yeah, everything's good. Join me at VidCam. We'll close this one out because I have a tea time today. Yeah, I gotta go golfing. Not that you guys care. Join me at VidCam. All right, guys, closing out the video on 75. Ran, drove, stop. Done. Check. Engine is as I'd say as bulletproof as it was. Probably come back next year or sometime maybe over the winter. Get the rear main and clutch replaced. Mainly the rear main because there is an oil leak back there. Not to the concern where I'm going to upsell you to pull an engine out to replace that. The life has the clutch has life left on it. The oil leak isn't that severe to the fact where I feel I'm going to want to pull it to just do that. If you can basically if you can live with that leak, I guess is what I'm getting at. But what we did in this episode, well, when I didn't show you shifter, it works. It's great. My honest opinion, just throw a performance shifter in it versus unless you want the stock look, rather than pulling your old shifter, seeing if it's a lockout plate, doing all that adjustment, or buying a new old shifter to make that look. If you don't care, spend the money. They're cheap. Dropping a new one. Much more trouble-free maintenance out of them. Don't have to worry about anything going awry. Disc brakes, I mean, how much more do I have to say? Can you say about them? They work. Car stops better, if not the same, on the better side of the same as it did. So that didn't change. Ride quality didn't change because we went with a drop spindle instead of like a lowered beam. When you go with a lower beam, you start getting, I'm not gonna say weird ride quality out of the same drop, but you get kind of weird ride quality out of the same drop because now your suspensions, I almost walked into that, didn't I? Yep, sure did. Now your suspension's articulating different than it was designed to. Right now, the articulation and suspension, the I don't know, spring rate, if you want to call it that, nothing changed. So as it drove before, it's driving now with a little more vigorous steering, a little more responsive, just because you're nose down, you change your caster more forward than it is negative. Think of a motorcycle. It's more this way, so you're more darty than this way, which is more straight line. Nothing that affects anything. It's just one of those things that, with every effect, there's a side effect, oppositeness. I don't know what I'm getting at. It works fine. I like it. Wheels do rub. Not even going to address it as of this moment due to the fact that the owner did order 4 new wheels for this thing. He's going with the MP8s. I just call them that. It's the 8 spokes. He's going to put them on there. So with that, I want to mount them. The 195s that are on here are probably going to go. And we'll probably run like a 185. We'll just basically fit and finish. The front wheel's going to change. So width and profile, most likely, just to stop the rubbing. Because when you go with an aftermarket wheel, it's going to stick out a bit. It already sticks out a bit with the disc brake conversion, but it's going to stick out a bit more with the aftermarket wheel. Ooh, what else am I getting on about? I don't know. It's coming back, just for some things. We might stiffen up the front end just a little bit, just depending on recoil. Not sure how we're going to go about that yet, and we may or may not have to. But when we get the wheels and tires, that's going to be another chapter in this car. But honestly, I think the thing looks great. I always like the 2.5-inch lowered spindles, disc brakes. I mean, if you're going to spend money on a drop, just put the discs on. Also, worrier-free maintenance. You don't have to worry about adjustments, stuff like that. I don't care if it's disc or drum. Does not matter to me personally. But as far as the ease of longevity of a car, or owner getting worked on somewhere else, almost anyone could do a pad slap. Hope that makes sense. But anyway, close out this video on 75. If you like this episode ever came out, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you do, I promise you we will chit chat. As always, thanks for watching. Hopefully, see you in the next one. Probably going to work on the red bug that's been looming. It also has drop spindles and MP8s on it. I like Steelies.